Well, here we are. It is Tuesday, February 23rd. I'm here with Michael Elerath, and he's holding Dallas, one of our advisors, for the youth vote coming up here.
I'm gonna make a correction. Dallas wasn't even born February 23rd. And that's so easy to do, to say that. At least I thought I heard you say that. So it's May 23rd.
I'm sorry, I thought I said May 23rd, but I could have been wrong.
Play back the tape will tell the truth. We'll find out.
So much for my veneer of papal infallibility.
Is that good, Della?
Well, good. Well, so
thank you.
Here in the 23rd day of May, the big concern is, of course, about the debt ceiling, and when it looks like progress is being made on the negotiations, the market goes up. Like today, when it looks like there's progress is not being made, the market goes down and sells off. It was off about 1.2%. So we'll see how this goes. Supposedly Janet Yellen, says that they got to get something done by June 1st, or Armageddon will arrive. So we'll see what happens with that. Not much other news on that right now. The market is still somewhat driven by AI, artificial intelligence. Market's waiting on NVIDIA earnings, which come out tomorrow, which is the poster child for artificial intelligence, and as well as some of the other AI related companies. So we'll see if this trend continues. But Michael Elerath, what have you been doing besides kissing babies?
Well, mom changes the diaper. She's right nearby. So
that's good.
A good thing. Yeah. So, just, keeping in the background, the debt ceiling negotiations, and, watching the presidential election season heating up. A lot of interesting characters in there, a lot of ability. So hopefully a lot of that will show up at the voting booths, when it's time.
Certainly. Well, certainly there's some concern about the debt negotiations. From what I've been reading, actually, that the Treasury's been actually, through their actions, been actually pumping a lot of money into the system because they haven't been issuing treasuries. And there's some concern that when they do issue treasuries, bonds go out, dollars come in, that some of the liquidity that's been propping up the stock market may in fact go away. So we may get even with a debt deal, we may get a relief rally followed by a sell-off. So keep close eye on everything. And I consistently have been building cash. So and holding cash.
There's more undercurrent. There's more noise about regional banks being stressed in their stress tests.
As we've discussed before, they tend to be so highly geared to real estate, and there's some real concerns about the commercial real estate sector out there. But let's talk about the residential real estate. Michael Harding, how are we doing? Any pain coming there yet, or are we still in?
Well, I think there's pain this week in the sense that the averages jumped up considerably from the previous week. And I have some details on that a little later. So if we take a look at the numbers, we see that the new and the first three, the new, the price change, and the pending, they're all pretty consistent. We had a slight uptick in the number of solds last week, but the percentage were below what it's been trending lately.
Right.
Days on market went up a little bit, but the thing that's of note to me as a dramatic
Wanna look at the
increase
camera?
from the
Video?
previous week with the average list price and the average sold price. I can't explain the average, the increase in the average list price, but for the average sold price, I have some numbers. 54 of the, what is it, 144 from last week sold above 600,000, the 600,000 price point, and 17 of those 54 sold in excess of $1 million. So that'll definitely skew your averages of your sold considerably. And there was one that sold for $2.7 million last week. And so I don't think that trend will continue overall for the market. I think we'll see a definite pullback next week, but it's nothing that'll be too alarming, because we can't sustain 37.5% of the transactions closing north of 600,000 in our local area without it having an adverse effect on the affordability overall for the market, and thereby price, a considerable number of the potential home buyers out of the market.
So true, so true. And while you were telling me this, and that $600,000 figure resonates loud and clear, I'll tell you a story. About 43 years ago, about 1980, a friend of mine bought a little small old house in Mill Valley, California, just north of the Golden Gate Bridge, just barely north of Sausalito. Little kind of nice little community. 600,000 43 years ago for a house that was probably no more than 900 square feet, and a lot that was only big enough that if you push the house down, you'd build a 3-story kind of narrow house. It wasn't a very big, very wide lot. And now we're looking at, nice homes, right? Selling for 600,000 up here.
Yeah.
It's just been a long time coming, is all.
So what's that home down in Mill Valley worth, you think? 2 million?
Oh, I think they sold the land for 2.5 a few years ago. Or
Okay.
sold it for land for a building site.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad the market's kind of holding up. I mean, other news that I've been reading is that there is definitely a downturn in real estate in other parts of the country. Maybe we're doing okay here on the left coast, at least for a while.
Yeah, well, I think with the affordability, I haven't looked at Portland lately, but the affordability in Portland is a lot worse off than the affordability here in Vancouver, because their averages are a lot higher in Portland than they are in Vancouver. So how that translates is that people are moving from Portland over to Vancouver to find more affordable housing. So I think that trend will continue for the foreseeable future, as long as there's issues with the amount of house you can get for the amount of money you pay for it. So that should help us. And stop me if you heard it before, but our employment is still pretty steady here in Vancouver, with the largest employers being either in the health industry, the school industry, or the government industry. So those are pretty solid markets in terms of jobs. So it's not like we can ship our educators or outsource our educators overseas. And so we shouldn't see a Black Monday like they saw in the Midwest in the 70s when the tire industry left Ohio.
Yeah. Or the oil patch, you know, and downturns in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So what is Dallas's prediction for the future?
Dallas thinks that it's going to become a he's got a bright future. And we got lots of good things happening.
Well, the Speaker McCarthy said today that basically Dallas owes $94,000 in terms of U.S. debt right now. So what's his plan for paying that off?
Natural resource development.
Okay. Well, either that or high tech, you know, but yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
grow the way out of it.
Speaking of taxes and politics, what is your general feel as candidates are emerging for both sides? You know, the Democrat and Republican. What are your views on how things are shaping up in terms of candidates? I guess DeSantis is going to announce tomorrow. Tim Scott announced yesterday, was it, or maybe it was today? So the Republican field is becoming crowded. I know
Donald Trump is running.
Yep.
I don't know if has. There you go. Has he officially announced that he's running?
I don't remember hearing anything officially,
Yeah.
but he hasn't officially said that he's not.
Right. And then, of course, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, or however you pronounce his name, who's
Vivek.
And Nikki Haley.
Yes.
Well, that's right. Nikki Haley.
Michael Pence has said he's a candidate.
Has he announced?
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, I think there ought to be a real scrum on the Republican side. You know, put out the alternatives.
Right. And has there been any major announcements?
Talk to you guys later.
On the Democrat side?
The one that I'm aware of is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Right
out there. Michelle Williams. Not sure I'm saying that right. And then, of course, President Biden. Let me just see if I can do a quick search here. We're saying 6 Republicans. On the Democrat side, of course, President Biden.
And Hillary wants to be vice president.
Yeah, Hillary's in there somewhere, not officially announced, but
she's not she won't run for president because she's already lost it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But vice president, and then if something happens to President Biden, she's in the driver's seat.
Well, it worked for Lyndon Baines Johnson. So yeah, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Larry Elder.
Yeah.
Asa Hutchinson on the Republican side. Tim Scott, of course, we just mentioned him. Marianne Williamson, that's what I was thinking of. The first one to officially declare, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And those are the only 3 on the Democrat side so far. But you know, more will emerge. You know, let's say we're one more fall going up the stairs of Air Force One by President Biden before they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, no kidding. But you know, things will kind of rumble along through most of the summer, and then things will really start to solidify when they do the conventions.
Yeah, we're 6 months away, well, 18 months away from the election, and my gut feeling is that the field on both parties is going to become super crowded here pretty soon. As opposed to last election, I can't recall of too many people who threw their hat in to oppose President Trump on the Republican side of the equation, and there was quite a slew of candidates on the Democrat side. But I think this time it'll be a lot different because of and this is not ageism, but the age of President Biden and his ability to see out another term, I think will influence a lot of people's decision to run against him on the Democratic side of the equation. So I think it's going to be interesting, certainly within the next 6 months as we approach November. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch and see who wants to vie for that seat on the Democrat ticket. So it's going to be interesting.
Certainly, and President Trump is no spring chicken either. He's probably in a little bit better cognitive shape than President Biden, but he could be one heart attack from being at his age, being out of the running easily. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though.
Yeah,
so true. I sure would like to see some of the serious Democrats come out early rather than later, so we can figure out who they are.
yes,
right.
Yeah, I think more candidates means better elections.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm of the belief that the more options we have and the longer we get to examine them and their policies and really vet them as candidates, the better the country is.
Yeah.
And lots of debates. Definitely better, better decisions are made when we see the debates. So, anything else you gentlemen care to add here?
We'll
But no, other than Dallas is so dang cute.
He is cute.
I'll tell you the rest.